Eren Yeager's life in Attack on Titan is not a story of simple heroism, it is a long, painful descent shaped by fear, loss, and unbearable responsibility. From the very first episode, Eren is introduced not as a chosen savior, but as a child trapped inside walls, suffocating under the idea of freedom being stolen from him. His anger is not born from ambition, but from helplessness. Even before tragedy strikes, Eren senses that the world is cruel, and that truth quietly plants the seed of his lifelong suffering. The defining moment of Eren's childhood arrives when Wall Maria falls and Titans invade Shiganshina. The horrifying scene of Titans devouring civilians is not just spectacle, it permanently fractures Eren's psyche. Watching his mother Karla Yeager being crushed and eaten by the smiling Titan is a trauma that never leaves him. This single moment becomes the emotional core of his entire journey, shaping every decision he makes afterward. Unlike many protagonists who grow stronger with hope, Eren grows stronger through despair. Every transformation he undergoes, emotionally and physically, comes at the cost of his innocence. His desire to kill all Titans is not heroic rage, it is the scream of a child who lost everything and never healed. Attack on Titan repeatedly shows that Eren's strength is fueled by suffering rather than clarity. As the story progresses, Eren learns devastating truths about the world, Titans, and himself. Each revelation strips away another layer of certainty. The enemy he once believed to be outside the walls slowly turns inward, until Eren realizes that he himself is part of the very horror he hates. This realization does not free him, it traps him deeper into a fate he cannot escape. Eren Yeager's struggle is ultimately a tragedy about freedom that comes at the cost of humanity. His life is not defined by victory or defeat, but by the unbearable weight of knowing too much, too early. He is not simply a villain or a hero, he is a boy crushed under destiny, memory, and the impossible burden of choice. 1. Witnessing his mother's death. Eren's suffering begins with the most brutal form of loss, watching his mother die in front of him. In Episode 1, Karla Yeager is trapped under rubble while the smiling Titan approaches. The scene is prolonged and merciless, forcing Eren to watch helplessly as his mother is eaten alive. This moment shatters Eren's childhood forever. His screams are not just grief but a promise of vengeance that defines his identity. Unlike characters who lose loved ones off-screen, Eren's trauma is visual, slow, and unforgettable. Even years later, Karla's death fuels Eren's rage and guilt. He believes that if he were stronger, faster, or smarter, he could have saved her. This unresolved guilt becomes a constant wound that never heals. 2. Growing up trapped behind walls. Before Titans, Eren already felt imprisoned. The massive walls symbolized safety for others but suffocation for him. Scenes of Eren staring beyond the walls show a boy desperate for freedom he doesn't yet understand. Being mocked for his dreams by others deepens his isolation. While society accepts captivity as peace, Eren sees it as slow death. This psychological imprisonment fuels his anger long before any Titan appears. The walls teach Eren that freedom is forbidden, and that realization plants a lifelong conflict between survival and liberty. 3. Survivor's guilt after Shiganshina. Eren survives when thousands die. This survival is not comforting, it becomes a curse. He constantly questions why he lived while others perished. Scenes of refugee camps and displaced families show Eren silently absorbing guilt. His anger toward Titans becomes mixed with self-loathing. This guilt later expands when he realizes his own role in future destruction, making survival itself feel like a punishment. 4. Discovering he is a Titan. When Eren transforms into a Titan during the Trost arc, his world collapses again. Becoming what he hates most is a psychological nightmare. The fear in his comrades' eyes hurts more than any wound. He is no longer human in their view, he is a weapon or a threat. This identity crisis creates deep self-hatred, forcing Eren to question whether he deserves to exist at all. 5. Being used as a tool by humanity. After his Titan powers are revealed, Eren is treated less like a person and more like a strategic asset. Military discussions revolve around how to use him, not protect him. Scenes in the courtroom emphasize his loss of autonomy. His life is constantly debated by others. This dehumanization reinforces Eren's belief that freedom is an illusion. 6. Losing trust in humanity. Eren's belief that humanity inside the walls was united slowly collapses during the uprising arc. He witnesses how the royal government hides the truth, manipulates civilians, and sacrifices innocent lives to preserve power. Scenes involving Historia's family and the secret experiments on Titan powers expose a horrifying truth: humans do not need Titans to be cruel. This realization deeply wounds Eren because his entire motivation was built on protecting humanity. When he understands that humans willingly oppress their own kind, his sense of justice fractures. The enemy is no longer clear, and this moral confusion begins isolating him from the ideals he once held. Eren's anger shifts direction, from Titans to systems, rulers, and eventually the world itself. Trust becomes impossible for him, because betrayal now feels inevitable. This loss of faith is not loud or explosive, it is quiet, heavy, and irreversible. 7. Learning the truth about the world beyond the walls. The basement revelation is one of the most emotionally devastating moments in Attack on Titan. When Grisha's journals reveal Marley, Eldians, and the outside world, Eren's dream of freedom collapses instantly. The ocean, once a symbol of hope, becomes a boundary of hatred. Eren realizes that Titans were never the true enemy. They were victims, just like him. This truth destroys his black and white worldview and replaces it with unbearable moral complexity. There is no longer a simple goal to fight toward. In the ocean scene, while others celebrate, Eren stares silently ahead. This quiet moment shows his inner death. Freedom no longer feels achievable, it feels conditional, fragile, and cruel. 8. Bearing the Attack Titan's memories. Unlike other Titans, the Attack Titan forces its holder to inherit memories from both the past and the future. For Eren, this is not a gift, it is psychological torture. Scenes where he touches Historia's hand reveal flashes of future events he cannot yet understand. These memories strip Eren of innocence and certainty. He realizes that his actions may already be decided, and that he is walking a path laid out by time itself. The more he learns, the less human his choices feel. Being forced to carry memories that do not belong to him fractures Eren's sense of identity. He is no longer living his own life, he is fulfilling a role he never chose. 9. Knowing the future but being unable to change it. As Eren matures, the fragments of future memories become clearer. He knows about the rumbling. He knows the devastation he will cause. Yet every attempt to imagine another path leads to the same outcome. Scenes where Eren silently cries, particularly during his time in Marley, reveal his internal war. He wants to be wrong. He wants another solution. But the future does not bend. This is one of Eren's greatest sufferings, having knowledge without power. Freedom, ironically, becomes the one thing he can never possess. 10. Becoming the villain to protect his friends. Eren deliberately chooses to become the enemy of the world so his friends can survive. His decision is not driven by hatred, but by love twisted into sacrifice. He believes that if the world unites against him, his people may finally be free. This choice isolates him completely. Scenes where he walks alone, detached and emotionless, show the cost of this decision. He accepts that history will remember him as a monster. Choosing to be hated is not strength, it is self-destruction disguised as resolve. 11. Hurting Mikasa and Armin to push them away. One of the most painful scenes is Eren verbally attacking Mikasa and physically fighting Armin. These moments are deeply disturbing because they contradict everything Eren once stood for. Yet beneath the cruelty lies intention. Eren believes that distancing himself will spare them from his fate. He sacrifices their trust so they can live without him. Hurting the people he loves becomes another burden he must carry alone. 12. Total isolation and emotional numbness. As Eren moves forward, he emotionally disconnects from everyone. His expressions grow empty, his words cold, and his presence heavy. This numbness is not confidence, it is exhaustion. Years of trauma, memories, and guilt erode his ability to feel joy or hope. Isolation becomes his punishment, long before his death arrives. 13. Losing his humanity completely. By the final arc, Eren is no longer perceived as human. He becomes a symbol of terror, destruction, and inevitability. This transformation is deeply tragic because it erases the boy who once dreamed of freedom under the open sky. The world sees a devil, but underneath still exists a broken child. 14. Dying without ever experiencing true freedom. Eren's death is not peaceful or victorious. It is quiet, resigned, and tragic. He dies knowing that true freedom was never within reach. His sacrifice brings a chance for peace, but not redemption for himself. The future he creates does not include him. Eren Yeager's life ends the same way it began, enslaved by forces beyond his control. Eren Yeager's life is a testament to how suffering can twist even the purest desire for freedom into something monstrous. Every step he takes is shaped by trauma, knowledge, and unavoidable destiny. He is neither hero nor villain, he is a tragic consequence of a cruel world. Attack on Titan uses Eren to ask whether true freedom can exist without destroying others. In the end, Eren Yeager is not remembered for what he wanted, but for what the world forced him to become.